Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about second unit organic chemistry. Second topic that is cyclic hydrocarbons, where our topic is alkenes. In that, we have already discussed about the preparations of alkenes, and today we are going to discuss about the properties of alkenes. That is chemical properties of alkenes. Okay. Now, alkenes generally undergo electrophilic addition reactions because of the presence of unsaturation, that is presence of double bond. Most common reactions of alkenes, they convert these pi bonds into sigma bonds. One pi bond gets converted to two new sigma bonds. So this is what happens in the addition reactions of, that is electrophilic addition reactions of alkenes. As alkenes, they contain the pi bond. It undergoes addition reaction to form new sigma bonds, especially two new sigma bonds are formed. One pi bond is broken and two new sigma bonds are formed. Here, one example we have given, that is first electrophilic addition reaction. The first one is addition of hydrogen. Addition of hydrogen. So C double bond C, that is an alkane, plus H2 is added in presence of a catalyst. Generally here we use metal catalysts like platinum, palladium, nickel, etc. In presence of the metal catalyst, this hydrogen molecule gets added over to C double bond C, one hydrogen to this carbon and another hydrogen to this carbon, and two new sigma bonds are formed, one sigma, two sigma, and the pi bond is broken here. So here only one sigma bond is present in between the two carbon atoms. That is, this unsaturated compound has become a saturated compound. Okay. And this is addition of hydrogen, that is hydrogenation is nothing but addition of hydrogen is nothing but reduction. So hydrogenation is reduction with hydrogen adding across the double bond to give an alkane. So this is alkane, this is alkane, C single bond C alkanes. We have already studied about alkanes. Okay, the reaction usually requires a metal catalyst, and just now I said this reaction, it needs a metal catalyst like platinum, palladium and nickel. Okay, so this is the specific example. Here we have given RCH double bond CHR, that is a general alkene. In presence of platinum catalyst, hydrogen gets added over to this double bond to give an alkane. Okay. Now, generally, hydrogenation takes place at room temperature using H2 gas at atmospheric pressure. So, temperature is room temperature, and hydrogen gas at atmospheric pressure is taken. So, the alkene is dissolved in alcohol or hydrocarbon or acetic acid. This is the solvent used. Alkene is generally dissolved in either alcohol or any hydrocarbon or acetic acid, and then little amount of platinum or palladium or nickel catalyst, that is this metal catalyst, is added, and hydrogenation actually takes place at the surface of the metal. So how it takes place? The addition of hydrogen to this alkene to form the alkane. How it takes place with the help of the metal catalyst? Let's discuss. Hydrogen gas is adsorbed on the surface of a metal. Hydrogen gas is adsorbed on the surface of a metal. I'll show here. Here, this initially hydrogen gas first gets adsorbed over the metal surface. This is the metal surface. This is metal surface. Over this metal surface, hydrogen gas is adsorbed. ADSOR, absorption. It is not absorption, adsorption. Adsorption is absorption on the surface. That is, surface absorption is known as adsorption. So hydrogen gas is getting adsorbed over the surface of the metal. So this is the metal where hydrogen gas is getting adsorbed. Okay. Now, so surface of the metal catalyst present as hydrogen atoms. Okay. And then alkene is also adsorbed as the on the metal surface. Alkene is also adsorbed on the metal surface. So it is believed that the less hindered site of the unsaturated molecule is adsorbed on the metal surface. So wherever hindrance is less on the alkene, that part of the alkene gets adsorbed over the metal surface. This then followed by simultaneous addition of two hydrogen atoms. This results in the formation of a cis product. Okay, I will explain with the help of the structures. So hydrogenation is a heterogeneous catalyzed reaction because the solid catalyst is in the different phase from the reactant solution. So the reactant is dissolved in the solvent like alcohol we said. So that is in the liquid state. Whereas the catalyst used is the solid. So this is known as heterogeneous catalytic reaction because the physical state of the reactants and catalyst when they are different it is called heterogeneous catalysis. When the physical state of the catalyst and the reactant is the same, then it is called homogeneous catalysis reaction. So here we are using uh, metal catalyst, that is a solid, whereas the reactant is dissolved in the solvent. So the reactant is in the form of a liquid state. Because of that reason, it is known as heterogeneous catalysis reaction. Okay, now let us see the reaction. So this is the metal surface. On this hydrogen gas is adsorbed in the form of H atoms. At the same time, alkene is also gets adsorbed on the metal surface. Wherever this alkene is having lesser hindrance, that is less bulky groups are present, that side it gets adsorbed onto the metal surface. Then what happens? This hydrogen gets added to this carbon, and this hydrogen gets added to this carbon, and this pi bond will be broken. You can see here. Okay. So like this, uh, the bond is formed in between carbon atom of alkene and hydrogen which is present on the surface of the metal. Thus, an alkane is produced. You can see here, an alkane is produced. So initially adsorption of alkene on the hydrogen adsorbed over the metal surface. So metal, hydrogen together, then alkene is adsorbing over this metal surface. Then what happens? These hydrogens, they combine with this carbon, they get added to these two carbon atoms. Thus, the pi bond is broken in between the two carbons and an alkane is obtained like this. Okay, so this is insertion of hydrogen, and in the next step, the product is released from the catalyst. So catalyst and the product, they get separated. So here we started with alkene and hydrogen is added and we got an alkane as a final product, and the catalyst is getting separated. Okay, now this is addition of hydrogen, addition of hydrogen or catalytic hydrogenation. Now this catalytic hydrogenation or addition of hydrogen to alkenes, here the stability of the substances produced and the stabilities of alkenes, they depend upon the heats of hydrogenation. So heat of hydrogenation and stability of alkenes, let us discuss. The catalytic hydrogenation is the exothermic process. That is, addition of hydrogen to alkene is an exothermic process. What is exothermic process? The process in which the reaction in which energy is released is called exothermic process. So here energy is released. So here, catalytic hydrogenation is an exothermic process and about 20 to 30 kilocalories per molar, which is almost equal to 80 to 120 kilojoules. Okay, of heat is evolved, that is released. So here we considered an alkene, that is 1-butene. To this hydrogen is added in presence of platinum catalyst. Then we got N-butane or normal butane, normal in the sense no branches, okay, no branches. Straight chain alkane is called N alkane, so it is N butane as it is having 4 carbon atoms. So here the delta H is minus 30.3 kilocalories per mole. That is this much of energy is evolved in this reaction. In kilojoules, it is equal to 127 kilojoules. Okay, so in the heat of hydrogenation, That is, during the addition of hydrogen to alkene, how much of energy is released? That is called heat of hydrogenation. Okay, so the heat of hydrogenation is in the case of this catalytic hydrogenation, the is around 20 to 30 kilocalories per mole. Okay, now let's see. The heat of hydrogenation of alkenes is a measure of stability of alkenes. So, based on the amount of heat liberated during the addition of hydrogen to alkene, we can decide the stability of that particular alkene. So with increasing stability of alkene, heat of hydrogenation decreases. When the alkene is more stable, the heat of hydrogenation is less. When the heat of hydrogenation is more, that alkene is less stable, we can say. Okay, so the smaller the numerical value of heat of hydrogenation of an alkene, the more stable the double bond therein. Okay, so when the heat of hydrogenation is less, the alkene is more stable. When the heat of hydrogenation is more, the alkene is less stable. This point we should remember. Okay, now stability order of alkenes. This is the stability order of alkenes based on heat of hydrogenation discussed. Ethylene is less stable than this, what do we say, the substituted ethylene, monosubstituted ethylene, which is less stable than disubstituted ethylene, which is less stable than trisubstituted ethylene, which is less stable than tetrasubstituted ethylene. So, as the substituents on the double bonds increases, substituents and the double bonds increases, the stability increases. So here it is less stable, whereas this is more stable. So more the number of substituents, more is the stability. So heat of hydrogenation will be in in this order. So this one which is more stable, which has lesser heat of hydrogenation. So the same thing we wrote here. So the tetrasubstituted alkene, which is having lesser heat of hydrogenation when compared to trisubstituted alkene, which has lesser value when compared to disubstituted alkene, which has lesser value when compared to monosubstituted alkene, which is having lesser value when compared to the alkene without any substituent. Okay. Now, electrophilic addition to alkenes. So generally alkenes, they undergo electrophilic addition reactions. We said we have already studied about addition reactions. There are three types of addition reactions. The other one is electrophilic addition, second one nucleophilic addition, third one free radical addition. Whereas in the case of alkenes, they undergo electrophilic addition reactions. Alkenes as well as alkynes also undergo electrophilic addition reactions. Okay, now here in many reagents add to a double bond to form more stable products. So the pi bonding electrons of an alkene are more loosely held. Therefore, a strong electrophile can pull pi electrons to form a new sigma bond. So leaving one of the carbon with only 3 bonds and a positive charge. That is, a carbocation is produced. Usually the positive charge is formed on the more substituted carbon. Thus, the double bond has reacted as a nucleophile, donating a pair of electrons to the electrophile. Finally, nucleophile attacks the carbocation, forming a stable addition product. So, this we will discuss by taking an example here. Initially, the electrophilic addition reaction, the first step, step 1, attack of pi bond on the electrophile to form a carbocation. That is what we have discussed now here. So, the pi bond electrons of an alkene are more loosely held. A strong electrophile can pull pi bond electrons to form a new sigma bond, leaving one of the carbon with only 3 bonds and a positive charge. That is, a carbocation is formed. See here, this pi bond electrons are pulled towards this electrophile. That is, this electrophile forms a bond with the help of this pi bond with one of the carbon atoms. See, a new bond is formed in between carbon and electrophile. Then the other carbon, the adjacent carbon, now it has only 3 bonds and a positive charge. That is only called a carbocation. So in the first step, attack of pi bond on the electrophile, pi bond attacks on the electrophile to form a carbocation. This is the step 1. In the second step. The second step, what happens? Attack by nucleophile results in the addition product. So, in the second step, this carbon, as it is having positive charge, the nucleophile present in the reagent, that is Nu minus or Nu, that is the negative ion present in the reagent, it goes and attacks this carbon which has a positive charge to form a new sigma bond in between this carbon and a nucleophile. So here two sigma bonds are formed. One is with electrophile, the other one is with nucleophile. So initial attack is by electrophile, therefore it is called electrophilic addition reaction. It is called electrophilic addition reaction. So this is what happens in the electrophilic addition reaction. Okay. Now, in this electrophilic addition reaction, what type of the molecule is formed and which molecule is more stable, that is governed by a rule that is known as Markovnikov's rule. That is known as Markovnikov's rule. So, orientation of addition. So, during addition, where the positive part of the reagent is added and where the negative part of the reagent is added to give the stable product, that is given by orientation, and that is governed by a rule that is known as Markovnikov's rule, which is very important topic of this alkenes. Now, let's see what is Markovnikov's rule. According to Markovnikov's rule, in an electrophilic addition to an alkene, the electrophile acts in such a way as to produce the most stable carbocation. So, in the addition reaction, the electrophile goes and attacks one of the carbon atoms of a double bond so that the most stable carbocation is produced in the first step. Okay. Now the rule is applicable to unsymmetrical olefins. This rule is applicable to unsymmetrical olefins. Unsymmetrical in the sense the doubly bonded carbons do not have similar groups, alkyl groups attached to them. Then it is known as unsymmetrical olefins. If the both the double carbon atoms with a double bond contain similar alkyl groups, then it is known as symmetrical alkene. For example, if you consider ethylene, CH2 double bond CH2, it is symmetrical alkene. If we consider propene, CH3CH double bond CH2, that is unsymmetrical alkene. Okay, so here one butane is unsymmetrical, whereas two butane is symmetrical. Ethylene is symmetrical. Propane is unsymmetrical. So here the rule is applicable to unsymmetrical olefins. So which forms more than one product? When the alkene is unsymmetrical, more than one product are produced, and out of this, one is a major product, the other one is minor product. So Markovnikov studied many electrophilic addition reactions of unsymmetrical alkenes and formulated a general rule. According to this rule, the negative part of the addendum in the sense the one which is to be added, that is nothing but the reagent. Okay, so the negative part of the addendum adds to the carbon atom that is joined to the least number of hydrogen atoms. So whenever we are adding an electrophile to an unsymmetrical alkene, then from the reagent, the negative part of the reagent goes and attacks the carbon atom containing less number of hydrogens. The carbon atom containing less number of hydrogens. This is the rule. Okay. Now let us apply this Markovnikov's rule to some addition reactions. Here, first of all, let's discuss about addition of HX. Addition of HX. So, RCH double bond CH2. This is an unsymmetrical alkene. How do you say that it is unsymmetrical alkene? Because the doubly bonded carbons, they have dissimilar groups attached to them. If you consider this carbon, it has two hydrogens attached, whereas this carbon, it has one hydrogen and one alkyl group. Thus, it is unsymmetrical alkene. If here two hydrogens are there, if this also contains two hydrogen atoms, then it is symmetrical. Okay, that's what we said. Ethylene is symmetrical, whereas this is a substituted ethylene, which is monosubstituted ethylene, which is unsymmetrical. Now to this, let us add Hx. In this H, if we add Hx, H is positive part, X is negative part. X is halogen, hydrogen and halogen. So H is positive part and X is negative part. So according to Marconi-Kuf's rule, X goes to the carbon containing less number of hydrogens. So in between these two carbons, this carbon has less number of hydrogens. It has only one hydrogen, whereas this has two hydrogens. Therefore, this X goes to this carbon, the carbon containing one hydrogen, and this H goes to the carbon containing more number of, that is, two hydrogen atoms. Then the product obtained is X to middle carbon and H to this carbon. So then this is the product obtained. According to Marconi-Kuf's rule, the negative part goes to the carbon with less number of hydrogens. Therefore, this is the major product. This is also obtained. That is, this X goes to this carbon and H goes to middle carbon. That is also obtained, but it is a minor product. So, according to Marconi-Kuf's rule, this product is the major product obtained because the negative part goes to the carbon containing less number of hydrogens. So, uh, let's discuss about the reaction mechanism of this one. In the first step is protonation of double bond. In the step one, what happens? Protonation of the double bond to produce a carbocation. So the proton is added in such a way as to produce relatively more stable carbocation. More stable carbocation is produced. And we know that the order of stability of carbocations is tertiary greater than secondary greater than primary. The order of stability of carbocations. We have already studied many times. Tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary, which is more stable than primary. So in the final product, the nucleophile is attached to more substituted olefinic carbon. This we have already discussed. Always nucleophile goes to the carbon which is having more number of substituents, in the sense which has less number of hydrogens. Okay, that is only Marconi-Kuf's rule says. Now let's consider one example. Or CH double bond CH2. H plus, this is reaction mechanism. Okay, so this H plus, it goes and attacks the carbon, any one of the doubly bonded carbons, so that it should give more stable carbocation. Okay, so this hydrogen, if it goes to this carbon atom, then a bond is formed in between these two, carbon and hydrogen, and this pi bond breaks and this carbon gets positive charge. Okay, hydrogen goes to first carbon. If hydrogen goes to second carbon, a bond is formed in between these two, that is carbon and hydrogen. This pi bond breaks and this carbon gets the positive charge. Let us see this. If hydrogen goes to middle carbon, this is obtained. Okay, hydrogen goes to this carbon gets positive charge, then it is the primary carbocation is obtained. And if this H plus, it goes to this carbon, this becomes CH3, this becomes CH plus and R. Okay, so this R, CH plus and CH3. This is secondary carbocation which is more stable. So this hydrogen gets added to any one of the doubly bonded carbon atoms such that more stable carbocation is produced. So if this hydrogen goes to this carbon, we get more stable carbocation, that is secondary carbocation is obtained here. So this is a major product and this is the minor product. And in the next step, this nucleophile, it goes and attacks the carbocation, that is the carbon with positive charge, to give the final product. So if this X minus goes to this carbon, we get X in to this carbon, and if this X minus goes to this carbon, we will get X over here. So let us see the products. In the first, if it goes, this X minus goes and attacks this carbon, we will get this product, which is the minor product. And if this X goes to this carbon, we will get this as a major product, because we have already studied according to Markovnikov's rule, negative part of the addendum or the negative part of the reagent goes to the carbon with less number of hydrogens. This carbon which has less number of hydrogens, therefore negative part goes to this carbon only, but not this. Because of that reason, we get this as a major product. This is about the addition of HX to unsymmetrical alkanes, which is governed by a rule that is known as Markovnikov's rule. Okay. Now, the specific example here we are discussing, that is addition of HBr. Addition of HBr. So, addition of HBr to an unsymmetrical alkene. Unsymmetrical alkene. See, this is alkene. That's C double bond C. This carbon, it has one hydrogen. This carbon has one hydrogen and one methyl group, whereas this doubly bonded carbon, it has two methyl groups. Therefore, it is unsymmetrical. Okay, now we are adding HBr to this. Then what happens? This hydrogen goes to either this carbon or this carbon, so that we should get the more stable product, more stable carbocation. So this hydrogen goes to this carbon, then this carbon gets the positive charge, that is a tertiary carbocation is produced. Therefore, hydrogen goes to this carbon and bromine goes to this carbon. Thus, the final product obtained will be, major product will be this one carbon, tertiary carbon with the negative ion, that is bromide ion. This is the nucleophile. Nucleophile goes to the carbon containing less number of hydrogens according to Markovnikov's rule. So in between these two carbons, this carbon has one hydrogen, this carbon has no hydrogens. Therefore, negative part has to go to the carbon with the less number of hydrogens, that is this one. So this is the major product obtained, and the minor product will be the different one, that is this H. If it goes to this carbon and Br goes to this carbon, we will get the minor product, that is CH3, CH3, and this is Br, that is to this carbon Br, and the other one is here CH3 should be there. Okay, that's next. Addition of water, another property, another uh, electrophilic addition reaction of alkenes, that is addition of water. Then when we add water to an alkene, what happens? Let's see. Alkenes, they react with water in presence of strongly acidic catalysts like sulfuric acid. Strongly acidic catalysts like sulfuric acid to form an alcohol. So in this hydration reaction, that is addition of water is nothing but hydration. And this hydration reaction is catalyzed by a strong acid like sulfuric acid, we said. And in this reaction, hydrogen atom is added to one carbon and hydroxyl group will be added to another carbon. You can see here. Hydrogen from water, H and OH. H goes to one carbon and OH goes to another carbon, and pi bond breaks and two new sigma bonds are formed. One is in between carbon and hydrogen, and one is in between carbon and that is adjacent carbon and OH group. Okay, so two new sigma bonds are formed. Here one sigma bond, another sigma bond, and the pi bond is broken. Pi bond is broken. So this is a hydration reaction, that is addition of water, which takes place in presence of an acid like sulfuric acid. Okay. Now let us discuss the reaction mechanism of addition of water. In the step 1, what happens? Protonation of double bond to form a carbocation. Protonation of double bond to form a carbocation. Then what happens this? This is water H2O, and this is H plus from acid. Okay, that is H3O plus. This pi bond, with the help of the pi bond electrons, they go and attack the hydrogen atom of H3O plus ion. That then what happens? The protonation takes place. That is, in between carbon, one of these two carbons and hydrogen, a bond is formed. You can see here. carbon hydrogen bond is formed, and the pi bond, this pi bond breaks, and the adjacent carbon is having only 3 bonds and a positive charge, that is a carbocation is formed. So in the step 1, what happens? Protonation, that is a addition of proton to one of the doubly bonded carbons, produces a carbocation. Next step, nucleophilic attack by water gives a protonated alcohol. So in the second step, what happens? Nucleophilic attack by water molecule forming a protonated alcohol. Okay, now let us see this how it happens. This is carbocation produced in the first step by the protonation of alkene with the water in presence of a acid catalyst. Okay, so this is carbocation produced. As this carbon is bearing positive charge, this water molecule with this oxygen, it has 2 lone pairs of electrons, we know. So one lone pair is enough to attack this carbon atom bearing the positive charge. Then what happens? A bond is formed in between a sigma bond. New sigma bond is formed in between this carbon and oxygen. You can see here a new bond is formed, carbon and oxygen, and these 2 hydrogens are already there to this water molecule. And this, as this oxygen, it has 3 bonds, it suffers with a positive charge now. Now, the third step, what happens? Deprotonation gives the alcohols. In previously, we got the protonated alcohol. This is OH is alcohol, but 1 hydrogen extra, therefore it is protonated alcohol. Now we get this protonated alcohol loses 1 proton to this base, that is a weak base present in the system. Then we will get the alcohol. You can see here, deprotonation gives alcohol. Deprotonation, that is loss of proton from this. So as this oxygen is having positive charge, oxygen more electronegative, it doesn't bear positive charge, then what happens? It loses one of the hydrogen atoms present this in the form of a proton. Then what happens? This bond pair of electrons moves towards oxygen. Then we will get OH group here, and this H goes with this weak base present in the system, that is water. That is the reagent we have added. Okay. Then what happens? We will get finally the alcohol. So in the first step, step 1 is protonation. Protonation of double bond to form carbocation. The second step is second step. Sorry, protonation. Second step is first step is protonation of double bond to form a carbocation. And in the second step, what happens? Nucleophilic attack of water molecule on the carbocation to form protonated alcohol. And the third step, deprotonation or loss of proton gives rise to alcohol. So finally, what is that happening? To the C double bond C, H and OH are added to the adjacent carbon atoms. 2 new sigma bonds are formed, and the pi bond present in between the 2 carbon atoms of alkene is broken. So this is what happening. So hence it is known as addition reaction. Why it is called electrophilic addition reaction? Because it is, the reaction is initiated by an electrophile. So the first step, electrophile is initiating the reaction to form a carbocation. Thus it is known as electrophilic addition reaction. Okay. Now, orientation of hydration, that is Markovnikov's rule. Let's discuss. So in the first step, proton adds to the less substituted end of the double bond. Less substituted end of the double bond, that is the carbon having more number of hydrogens. To that carbon only hydrogen goes and forms a bond. Okay, so the first step, proton adds to less substituted end of the double bond to form more substituted carbocation. So the more substituted carbocation will be more stable. So water attacks the carbocation to give, that is in the second step. Water attacks the carbocation to give alcohol with the OH group attached to more substituted carbon. So hydrogen of water first attacks the carbon with less substituted end of with less substituted end of the double bonds. Then afterwards, and once that carbocation is formed by the addition of H plus of water, in this next step, what happens? Water attacks the carbocation to give the alcohol. That is where the OH group will be attached to more substituted carbon. So this is about the orientation. Now let's see with an example. Let's explain this with an example. So here, if we consider an alkene, that is 2-methyl 2-butene, to that if we add water, then what happens? Hydrogen goes to the carbon which is having less substitution or more number of hydrogens. In between these two carbon atoms, this carbon has one hydrogen, this carbon has no hydrogens. Therefore, when we add water, the hydrogen, that is proton, goes to this carbon with the more number of hydrogens or less substituted hydrogen. Okay, then what happens? We will get a carbocation like this. So this is the more substituted carbocation or more stable carbocation is produced. This is one way. If in the other way it takes place, that is, if this proton goes to this carbon, then this carbon gets the positive charge. You can see here. Okay. So this is secondary carbocation, whereas this is tertiary carbocation. So tertiary carbocation is more stable when compared to secondary carbocation. Okay. Then afterwards, what happens? Water, that is the nucleophile. It goes and attacks this carbon to give this alcohol as a major product. And if this water if goes and attacks this carbon, we will get this alcohol, that is a secondary alcohol, as a minor product. This is a tertiary alcohol. It is more stable, and this is secondary alcohol which is less stable. That is, we mean to say that this tertiary carbocation is more stable. Therefore, tertiary alcohol is more easily formed when compared to this. Okay. So this is based on Markovnikov's rule. Next one is same addition of water only, but with the help of oxymercuration. That is, with the help of the mercury, we are adding water molecule. Okay, so here let us see. Mercuric acetate catalyst is used. Hydration by oxymercuration and demercuration. Okay, addition of mercury and removal of or loss of mercury takes place. Okay, so here we are adding water in presence of this catalyst. So let's see the addition reaction. This is alkene. Here mercuric acetate and water, and in this we got this product, that is OH is getting added to one carbon, and next mercuric acetate, it is getting added to another carbon. One acetate ion is lost. Then this is the positive part, it goes to one carbon, and this is the negative part of the reagent which goes to another carbon. Thus we get the this product. Okay, so in this afterwards what happens? We should remove this with the help of a reducing agent like sodium borohydride. Then we will get the final alcohol what we want the product. Okay, so H to one carbon and OH to another carbon, addition of water is taking place, that is alcohol is produced from alkene. So same thing happens. So initial substrate is same and final product is same, but the method is different. Okay, now let us see the steps involved in this oxymercuration. So in the mechanism, step 1, electrophilic attack forms a mercurium ion. Okay, so you can see here, this is mercuric acetate. One acetate ion is lost. Now this mercury is having a positive charge, and this pi bond electrons of C double bond C goes and attacks this mercury. Then what happens? A bond is formed in between this carbon and mercury. You can see here. Okay, carbon, this carbon and mercury. This is mercurium ion. Mercurium ion is produced. This is step 1. Okay. And the second step, water opens the ring. This here ring is formed, two carbons and mercury. Water opens the ring to give an organomercurial alcohol. So water goes and attacks this carbon from the rear side, that is back side. Then this bond breaks, the carbon and mercury bond breaks. Then we will get here to this carbon H2O is added and this carbon has HgOAc. Okay, organo mercurial alcohol is produced here. This is all organic part and this is mercury and this is alcohol, OH, protonated alcohol. Okay, and now what happens? This loses this what? As this oxygen, it has positive charge, it doesn't bear positive charge because it is more electronegative sets. Then what happens? It loses one of the hydrogen atoms in the form of a proton, C minus H plus, in the form of a proton to form an alcohol. So organomercurial alcohol. Mercury is there. This is a organic and this is alcohol. Okay. Now this organomercurial alcohol can be conveniently reduced to alcohol by a hydride donor like sodium borohydride. So in presence of a base, the sodium borohydride, which is a reducing agent, that is it donates a hydrogen atom in the form of H minus. So this is acting as a reducing agent. It reduces this compounds to give an alcohol. You can easily see what is that happening. So the sodium borohydride, it removes this and adds one H. Then we will get an alcohol H to one carbon, OH to another carbon. An alcohol is produced here, and these are the different products obtained by the byproducts obtained by the reaction. Next, one specific example here we discussed. Okay, so this is less substituted carbon, this is more substituted carbon. To the less substituted carbon, hydrogen atom goes, therefore here CH2. Okay, and more substituted carbon, OH goes. Right. So initially first step, organomercurial alcohol will be produced and from that this part is removed with the help of sodium borohydride as it acts as a hydride donor. Okay, this is example. And next one is addition of HOX. Addition of HOX. Now in this HYX, that is HYX, where X is halogen atom, HOCl, HOBr, HY, etc. Okay, so addition of HYX, formation of halohydrins. So halohydrins, how they are produced, let's see. So halohydrin is an alcohol with halogen at adjacent position. So alcohol group and halogens both are present on adjacent carbon atoms. Then it is known as halohydrin. This is halo, this is hydrin. Okay, halohydrin. So in water and halogen, alkenes form halohydrins. So halohydrins, how they are produced? In water, halogen, if it combines with this alkene, we will get halohydrins. So alkenes, they react with halogens in presence of water, the halogens in water to form halohydrins. So halogen adds to alkene to form halonium ion. Then water attacks halonium ion to form a halohydrin after the loss of a proton, because let us see the reaction mechanism, then we will come to know what is that happening. So in the first step, formation of halonium ion. Formation of halonium ion. So this halogen, this goes in the form of X minus and this becomes X plus, and this double bond, that is pi bond electrons, they attack this X plus to form a halonium ion. This one, halonium ion. Em means positive charge. So halogen with positive charge. Right. Now in the next step, what happens? Water opens halonium ion, which upon deprotonation gives the halohydrine. Okay, so water goes and attacks one of the carbon atoms from the backside. Thus, the bond here breaks and we will get X to this carbon and OH, that is H2O to this, that is protonated OH to this carbon. And this oxygen, it with positive charge, it loses one proton, that is minus of H2O, takes place minus of H plus with to this weak base water takes place, then we will get OH in the next carbon. Okay, see, H2O, it abstracts this proton and forms H3O plus, that is proton is removed by H2O, and here OH is left behind. So one carbon X, another carbon OH, that is halohydrine. Halohydrine is produced. Okay, now here this is called anti-addition. Why it is called anti-addition? Because here X is added to this carbon from the front side and OH is added to this carbon from the back side. So this X and OH are anti to each other, opposite to each other, anti. Therefore, it is called anti-addition. Now, the anti-addition product may be chlorohydrin or bromohydrin or iodohydrin. If olefin is unsymmetrical, halohydrin formation follows the Markovnikov's rule. So, if unsymmetrical alkane is present, olefin or olefin in the sense alkane. If the alkane is unsymmetrical, halohydrin formation follows the Markovnikov's rule. So, according to Markovnikov's rule, the negative part goes to the carbon atom with less number of hydrogens. So, in halohydrin, which is negative part, that we should come to know. So, here in this halohydrin, that is HOCl if we consider HOX, HOCl if we consider OH is negative part, Cl is positive part. Okay, OH is negative part and Cl is positive part. So positive part goes to carbon with more number of hydrogens and OH negative part goes to carbon with less number of hydrogens. This is according to Markovnikov's rule. So OH goes to the carbon, doubly bonded carbon, so the carbon which has less number of hydrogens. To that part, to that carbon OH goes, and Cl, it is a positive part, Cl plus, it goes to carbon with more number of hydrogens. So doubly bonded carbon with more number of hydrogens, that part we should remember because addition takes place only here. Okay, so chlorine to this carbon and OH to middle carbon. So you can see the product here. So this is the product obtained according to Markovnikov's rule. Okay, now addition of hypohalous acids. Addition, that is HOX. Either directly we can add HOX or X2 in water also can be added to get the halohydrins. Okay, so here addition of hypohalous acids, that is HOX, where X is ClBrI. In this reaction also we get the same product, halohydrin. Okay, here we can use either HOX or X2 in water can also be used. Okay, see the mechanism. Same mechanism here also. That is similar to X2 and water addition, I said. Okay, same mechanism. Initially, this double bond, it goes and attacks this X because it is the positive part and OH is negative part in this molecule. Then what happens? A bond is formed, that is a halonium ion is formed here. Halonium ion is formed. Then what happens? This OH minus goes and attacks one of the carbon atoms from the backside because here already X is there. Therefore, it goes and attacks any of these carbon atoms from the backside. And then what happens? A bond breaks here. Let me say bond breaks. Then what happens? If this goes and attacks this carbon, the bond breaks here and X to this carbon and OH to this carbon. Anti-addition, opposite to each other. Okay. If the alkane is unsymmetrical, it follows the Markovnikov's rule. Okay. Hydroxide ion attacks the more substituted olefin, that is the carbon containing less number of hydrogens. Here, this is unsymmetrical. because this carbon has two hydrogens, this carbon has one hydrogen and one alkyl group. This is more substituted. So the negative part goes to the carbon, which is more substituted. So negative part to this and positive part to this. In HOBr, negative part is OH and positive part is Br plus. So Br plus goes to this carbon and OH goes to middle carbon. So we get the major product here. Cr, CH, OH, CH to Br. And this the other way, if it takes place, that is the minor product. Minor product here. Now the questions here we come across. There the first one is this one. This is cyclohexene. If we add bromine water, what is the product produced? So you think and answer. And this is methyl cyclohexene. When to this bromine water is added, what is the product obtained? What is the product obtained? So that these are the questions from the topic which we have discussed now. So thank you all, and we will continue with the remaining properties of alkenes in the next session. Thank you once again.